I'm VanNyhuis. I'm the track coach in Osakis. I also teach biology. I've been doing this for quite a few years, over 2 decades. As far as our limitations we have right now as our track program, one of them is that we have a 6-lane track. Most facilities that host meets have 8 lanes, which is required for most competitions. So in the past few years, we've only hosted junior high and JV meets. We haven't had any varsity meets. Typically, most schools that have an 8-lane track that have nice facilities, they'll host at least 2 or 3 meets a year, plus they may host a conference meet or a subsection meet to draw more people and more fans and have more home events. Another limitation we have in our facility is we don't have any type of seating for track meets at all. So when we do have junior high and junior varsity track meets, we have parents either standing for multiple hours, or sometimes they might bring lawn chairs, but we don't have any type of way to announce things. We don't have a PA system. So compared to most schools that are similar to us, we have very limited facilities. The facilities do work for practices, but we do have limitations for hosting meets here for varsity teams. And a lot of times we don't have, when we have offered varsity meets in the past, is we've had limited interest just because there's other options much better than what we have out there right now. Another thing that we have that's kind of an issue for our track is that we have the grading, or the base of our track is it moves quite a bit. So each year when the frost goes out, there's a shifting in the substrate, which results in cracks that can be anywhere from a 1/2 inch to sometimes up to 3 inches. And we did have a junior varsity meet one time where one team refused to compete on it until we filled that crack with just sand from our sand pits. And that was a temporary fix to kind of a long-term problem we had there. Another issue we have is with our current setup, we have one jumping runway. So we only can jump in one direction. And also the takeoff boards are unsafe. We did have an athlete slip on a takeoff board a few years ago and sprained his knee and was held out of competition for most of the year. And that athlete would have been a state contender most likely. Our pole vault pit also can only go in one direction. So we're limited with, if it's a windy day where there's a south wind, we can't flip that around and go from the different direction to keep it safe. So we do have both safety limitations with for our athletes with the cracks and the jumping area. We have competition limitations because of how many lanes we have, and we don't have any seating. We don't have PA system, no outdoor bathrooms that are in close proximity. So we're very limited for what kind of events we can host. Now, if we did have an upgrade, one of the things that we could benefit by is having a better and safer practice facility. That's our #1 priority. But also we could host larger meets, varsity meets that could bring multiple teams in. And if we, let's say if we had an 8-team meet, each team brings approximately 50 to 100 student athletes. Many of them bring parents. Those parents will come to our community, see our facilities, and then hopefully visit some of our downtown businesses after those events. So if we had, let's say, 3 or 4 of those events, that would be thousands of people that would come to our community for that type of thing. Having our track around the football field also is a conventional way that most schools have their facilities set up. I would say almost any school you go to, if they have a track, it's around the football field. It makes dual use of your seating, your concessions. All those things are used in just one location. That would free up this space for other activities as well. Additionally, having a turf football field would give us a dry space when we first get outdoors in the spring. When out here there's very poor drainage, so most of the grassy areas are soggy. They're hard to use, and usually there's about a 2 or 3 week delay after the snow is melted before we can really use our area. So having that turf field would give us a place to practice until we can get that kind of dry footing.